taking some time to attempt to go live. Aha. Creating the changes you want to see your man make. That's what we are talking about tonight because everybody wants to see their man make some changes, which is okay because you will learn how to help make that happen in your man tonight. In this live, if you stay tuned, some really good information, and it's going to help you to help your man. That's what we're all about. And I'm so happy to be here for my first ever Instagram and YouTube live. So I'm here on YouTube and hopefully live on Instagram. Well, let's see if it worked. I'm going to take a look on my feed and see if it's working. Well, not so sure. Not at all so sure. We'll see. Perhaps. If anybody can tell me. Aha. There's a little delay. That's okay. I'm going to say hello there on Instagram and tell the Instagram viewers if you want to add a comment that I can see while I am on, you need to come over. Hi there. You need to come on over to YouTube because that's where I can see the comments and comment back to you, especially in our Q&A. If you know anything about my lives, you may have heard live discussions here on YouTube because if you are a member of my Wonder Women group or you are a client of mine, you can talk to me here on a live. Everyone can hear it, so everything's anonymous. Your name, his name, etc. But it's a good way for me to actually get to know you, talk to you. You can be in my Wonder Women group where you get every Make Him Wonder episode of my podcast where I have real live coaching conversations. You can hear them all. You can get them fully without ads in the 80/20 Wonder Club, and you can see that description below. But before we go any further about creating the changes you want to see your man make, I'm going to tell you if you don't know who I am. Obviously, if you're here on my channel or you're on my Instagram page, you do know me. But for those who might just run across this video or this live by happenstance, I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I coach you to find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing relationship with a man you truly desire. So you create the relationship of your dreams, and then you level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. So we're going to get into this tonight for both you on Instagram, welcome, and YouTube. Now, again, I will not see you if you're on Instagram making comments, so you might want to come over to YouTube to on the Q&A portion, especially if you want to say hello. Hi, good to see you here. And I can answer any questions there, but it's great to have you all. And I so appreciate you because we got to my goal and one beyond my goal of 2,257, 51. It was my goal to get to, hi there, 250, so 2,250. Yay, we did it, we did it. All due to your help, I am sure. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. So what is this about creating a change in a man? Everybody knows we don't set out to get into a relationship and change a man. For sure we don't. But there are things that we as women know about relationships that would make them thrive, be the best possible. If we're happy, our man is happy, and vice versa. And each of us hopefully learn from the other in a relationship. But because relationships are our realm, if you listen to me at all, I talk about the mechanics of men, and we are the mechanics of relationships, where men are the mechanics of real cars. They know about them. They like to talk about them. They know about engines and how the parts fit together and how it all works well. And we can go to them for information. Hey, thank you, Michelle. Yes, Michelle verifies that I'm on Insta too. So, yay, great. We have to be the mechanics of relationships because we know what works best. We need to be the guide in our relationships, the same way a man needs to guide us about a car, because we don't care to talk about them. We only want them to look good, feel good, get in them. We know how to put gas in them. Some of us even know how to put oil in. Just maybe a few change a tire. But on whole, we don't really care to know. We just want our car to work well and not be a problem. This is how men feel about relationships. And in our day-to-day world, we want to just rely on the man, if we have one even if he's the mechanic, the real mechanic, to just take care of it. We don't want to hear about it. We don't want to talk about it. We just want it to work. And this is how men feel about relationships. So you'll hear me say a lot of times, if you're talking about a relationship, not so good. Because a man will glaze over. He doesn't want to hear about it. He doesn't get it. He wants to have the relationship. And that's where we come in to guide it to its best possible outcome. If you want a man to make changes, this is going to be a significant video for you to watch. Pretty foundational, really, because if you want him to make change, the change must come through you. And that can seem like, okay, well, that just seems like doublespeak. What do you mean through me? You might have, or you might know that I believe highly in my 3 pillars of working with women to get them what they want, which is mindset, the mechanics of men, which is what we actually do, how we interact, etc., knowing men and knowing how we must behave for the best outcome, and then manifestation. And manifestation kind of encompasses, and mindset and manifestation go together. All 3 go together. But here, I like to recommend different manifestors that I think are very helpful in terms of you staying in the right mind frame and mindset and getting past your subconscious programming, where your belief systems lie in the realm of love. When we are babies, we are programmed what love is. Our own unique, like thumbprint experience of what love is imprinted on us when we are birthed to age 7, when we're in a brain state whereby the knowing that we have intuitively, and it's one of the only couple of things we know coming out of the womb, is how to suckle, and that our survival depends on the love of that main caregiver, mainly mother. And as we grow, a little bit father comes into it. but we are, in a sense, imprinted with our belief system about our worthiness, lovability, uh, that we are good enough, lovable enough, that our caregiver gives us, which is our love interest, gives us attention, affection, unconditional love and regard. And this can get skewed because we're in a baby mind, very skewed according to birth order and what's going on with your love interest at the time. We are just a ball of, uh, let's see, an openness and a vessel for taking in the feelings of the main caregiver, and the slightest variation of continued attention, affection, being present for us puts in our mind things that aren't necessarily true at all, but because they are our experience, we then start living them out as we age. We live them out, live them out, live them out. And if you have found that you are attracting the same kind of man, that you have chemistry only with a man who discards you, uh, doesn't give you love, attention, and affection, doesn't treat you well, even, or maybe even mistreats you, you are likely just replaying your programmed experience of what love is. In other words, you have a baseline of what you feel love is, and that has no good, bad, any connotation whatsoever. So if you come from a very traumatic situation, that will feel like love. And then if you're with a man who gives you unconditional positive regard, treats you really well, gives you time, attention, and affection, it won't feel like love. It will feel like nothing. You will have no feelings. So what does this make necessary for us? That we override that programming and create a new programming for ourselves in order to make a new story. And nowhere is this, I think, more rightfully and succinctly stated than this one conversation with Joe Dispenza. If you don't know Joe Dispenza, he's a doctor who is one of the foremost in the space of healing using reprogramming, but it can also be used, and he talks about it, and he opens himself up for this as well, to any manner of creating the life you want, and that includes change. Because when we change, the man we are with changes. There is no question. So one of the manifestors I like here, Dylan James. If you don't know him, I like him a lot. Shout out to Dylan James. Someone says, love Joe Dispenza, for sure. So bright, really changed so much for us, had his own healing journey, which is really miraculous. But Dylan is a manifestor you can watch here on YouTube, Dylan James. And he says at the beginning of all his videos, he will say what we are talking about here. Become the change you wish to experience. Many times we look at the other person in the relationship. If only they would change, then I would feel loved. Then I would feel happy. Then I would feel whatever it is. But when we start making those changes in our reality, the man changes through us. So I want to play this little clip from him talking with Lewis Howes, and take a listen. I'll stop it when we get to certain points, but I think it's really going to help elucidate what we're saying.
We live in chronic disbelief. What if the truth was that you're greater than you think, more powerful than you know, more unlimited than you could ever dream? If that was the truth, that you are the creator of your life, you have to start. If you believe that to be the truth, then you have to believe in yourself, and your belief in yourself must be earned. It must be earned, and the only way that we can believe in a future is when we feel the emotion associated with it. Because if you feel the emotion associated with it, your body is your unconscious mind. It's so objective, it does not know the difference between the real life experience that's creating that emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. And so you're giving your body a taste emotionally of the future. And the stronger the emotion you feel, the more you remember that future. And you literally are embossing the circuitry for you to believe in it more. So if we default and become the victim of our life, and we say that some person or some circumstance or some condition is causing me to feel this way and to think this way, the moment we become angry or frustrated or guilty or unworthy or afraid or anxious, we can't believe in that future any longer. Those emotions are associated with past memories. And those emotions cause us to behave as if we were in our past, make choices that are equal to our past, and believe in our past.
So what he's saying there is what we are talking about. That our programmed experience is what we will continue to play out. And it is seared in us subconsciously. And we're going to talk about overriding it because when you do, you will start to see the change in the man you wish to make. And sometimes you need to get it from outside. You need to say, I would like him to be more affectionate. And then you see what you might be doing from your subconscious that is fostering his lack of feeling safe with you because you might be going too much towards him to get affection. You see, there's a lot you have to unpack, but you first have to start with your awareness. And there's a little more that I'd like you to hear from Joe, Dr. Joe, and he goes on about it.
And more people believe in their past than they believe in their future. And it's so much easier to forget your vision of the future than to remember it. And so if that's the truth, then if you understood that this emotion that you're feeling is really a creative emotion, uh, living in fear and living in anger and living in hostility and hatred and judgment and resentment, that has nothing to do with your future. It has everything to do with the past. And so the problem is that we get addicted to those emotions that keep us connected to the past, and there's a story that goes with that past. And so many people believe in that story, and why not believe in a different story? And it usually takes crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis or loss for people to finally make up their mind to change. But that default that takes place so seamlessly when we feel the emotions of our past causes us to think the same way, to act the same way, and to feel the same way.
So, really true. And when we continue to act the same way, feel the same way, many times we are feeling the same way, so we act the same way, so it's co created, then we are not changing. Therefore, our outer world doesn't change. And you can see how the man in question will not. So it requires that we, what? What's he talking about? Create a new story. And what does that actually mean? It's, I believe, again, the three pillars. The new story is your own mindset, affirmation. Somebody put here about sleep meditations. Yes, definitely want to be using sleep meditations because our brain is in theta and then delta, I believe, only twice a day. Theta we go into when we're falling asleep and when we're coming from sleep into waking. So those two times of the day are very, very important for what we are feeding our subconscious mind. So I recommend I am sleep meditations for worth and value. I have some here on my channel. You can go under manifestations and meditations. Or I really like Jessica Heslop, Jason Stevenson, Rising Higher meditations, all have I am sleep meditations. But you also want to be filling your mind at all times rather than the negative thoughts. And sometimes they're not thoughts, they're just feelings. And when we're in the negative feeling state, we must switch it over to the positive feeling state, even if we don't feel like it. So, for example, if you are feeling, say, you wake up and you're feeling very tired, you can slowly talk yourself up to a different state, even though you have the feeling of being tired. So you start saying to yourself, I'm well rested. I feel rested. I'm beginning to feel wide awake. You don't want to go to the negative. You don't want to go to I am not. No, you want to go to what you are. Very important. It might seem like something small, but keep it in the positive. I'm wide awake. I've got energy. I feel energetic. I know I'm waking up. I'm happy to be waking up. And just by those words, and you don't have to say it out loud, you say it in your mind, you start to. So you see how we are going to parallel this and parlay it, I should say, over to your change that you want your man to make. Very important to understand that you can create the change you want to see. It's not seeing is believing, it's believing, feeling, doing what Dr. Joe was saying, and then creating this new reality for yourself and becoming it. And then you see the change from your belief. That's a different way of looking at things. But if there's anybody here who, what do you want your man to change? Think about it. I'd like him to what? Just put in the comments here and I will comment on that. I would like him to, a lot of women, it's like, I would like him to be more in touch. That's a big one. I'd like to feel more connected. Okay. So you see, to create your new story, you then just simply turn it around to, I would like him to convince me. Okay. Let's take the connected first. Isn't it fantastic? I am very connected to, and you put his name. His name and I are lovely, in a lovely way connected. We are connected. I'm so happy and grateful now that his name and I are very connected. Now, you may say, well, that's just a lie. I don't feel connected. You must keep going down this route to override your programming of you not feeling connected. Because I would dare say, most of the time when I'm working with someone, she feels he's not connecting. And I'll say something like, well, how often does he text? And I'll hear things like, he only texts 2 or 3 times a day. Right there. I know. Ding, ding, ding. He only texts 2 or 3 times a day. It's a feeling of lack. And she is not feeling connected. There is a programmed thing there whereby I don't get the attention I want. I'm in lack. I'm not feeling XYZ. I'm not feeling connected. I'm not feeling wanted. I'm not feeling loved. Until that changes around, he will feel the same. And I don't mean he doesn't feel connected. He's going to feel the opposite of that, which is maybe you are pulling on him to connect. He's feeling an energy from you that is needing. And until you give it to yourself, he will feel that need coming from you and still holds back. Does that make sense? It's reciprocal. So when you give it to yourself that you've got that connection, then he will not, he will feel, I should say, freer to connect with you, safer. You know that I say all the time, and this is under the mechanics of men. Men need 2 things above all, and this is for Angel, who says I would like him to commit. 2 things to feel like he wants to commit, to be inspired to commit. And that is under the heading of safety and happiness. So, under the heading of safety, there are 2 categories. The first is he must feel safe that you are in the Madonna category of Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy. That's not me, that's Freud. If you don't know it, look it up. We talk about it here all the time, but he must feel that you are in that category because a man will only commit to a woman he feels is safe in that way and will not cheat on him. She needs to be in the category of wife, mother material, not someone just for sex, just to have fun with. It's big. Second, under this safety category, he must feel safe from your emotional stuff, drama, chaos, so to speak, needs that he does not understand and cannot attend to. And depending on where the man is on his tolerance level of female emotions, you have to really give yourself what it is you need so that you are the most stable, most solid going into the relationship and presenting that. Because male and female relationships are push pull. And if you're coming at him from an energetic space of need or lack, you're gonna foster need and lack. This is deep kind of stuff. And you have to be feeding your mind with who you know yourself to be from your consciousness. I would like to know that he is there for me. Okay, so what are the affirmations? You need to know you are there. You are there for yourself. Above all, that's one of Because you see, if you are coming towards him that I don't feel he's there for me, well, to create the change in him, and this is a very good example, you must then start feeding in your mind, isn't it wonderful? He's stepping up. He's there for me. I trust that he is there for me. Good. She says yes. And then foster your subconscious, your lovability, your worth, your value, that you are worthy of him being there for you. And that's probably a very valuable affirmation that you're going to need to feed. I'm so happy and grateful now that he is there for me. What I like is I'm so happy and grateful now that I am secure, confident, and know my worth, which inspires him to show up for me, be there for me, connect to me, commit to me. That's a ding, ding, ding. Write it down. How do I know if I'm in the right category? Well, this is a tricky one because you can change it if you've not been in the right category. It's, again, under Freud's Madonna whore. Not my word, Freud's. Men categorize women right away in one of two categories. And if you've had sex very quickly with him, he will need time and change for him to feel more secure with you. That's why when I work with women, I do not ever foster attempting to make a man jealous. That's not ever a good thing if you want commitment from that man. It's the wrong road to go down because he will not feel safe with you. And that's from one of my foundational sayings. What you do with him, he thinks you could do, would do, or are doing with all men. So that's why you may have been the most chaste girl in the world, and then you meet a guy who absolutely knocks your socks off, and on the second date, you have sex with him. And you can say, oh my gosh, I've not been with anybody else. I just, wanted to so much with you, and I did. That's not going to undo it because it's words. If you know also one of my foundational principles, women relate via verbalization, men relate via action. What you do with him, he thinks you could do, would do, or are doing with all men. So you have to show you're like all other men. I don't have sex with you fast right off the bat. You have to give me something first before I do. This is a really hard one in today's world because we've been sold a bill of goods that it doesn't matter that we're equal. Yeah, we're equal. Absolutely equal. We're not the same. Yeah. So if you have started out in a just friends with benefits, sexual relationship, F buddy, anything like that, you have to do the hard stuff to get it back on track. And mostly that will be via my lure him back approach, which you're not going to reset it through any kind of discussion. It will not work. Men do not relate via verbalization. They relate via action, and you get their action via yours, which is opposite. Equal, but opposite. I hope that answered you, Angel, to know if you are in the right category. Now, again, also, men fall on a scale. Mind you, all men have a version of Madonna whore. It used to be called Freud's Madonna whore complex, but through the years in psychology, people know that it's so pervasive in the male brain that it is a dichotomy. It's men make an assumption right away by dress, action, voice, way you carry yourself, what you're doing. They make an assumption. What category? Should we use affirmations if wanting him to reach out or bring in the one? Or reach out or bring in the one if not currently interested? I see what you're saying. If wanting him to reach out or bring in the one. Okay, I get your question, I think. Trista, what you're saying is, can I use I am affirmations for someone I would like to reach out to me? Sure. By not asking the universe, by making it so. So you make that change. I'm so happy that he's reaching out to me. It's so exciting. I'm hearing from him any moment now, any day now. I know I'm hearing from him. I am hearing from him. I am getting that, whatever you want, that call, that text. I am excited. I know I am hearing from him. I am hearing from him. What we put after I am manifests in small ways and big ways. And I like for manifestation also, I told you one here, Dylan James. I like a lot of people. Sylvia Nuccio, Elevate with L, Naya, Neyaah. I also like for his list method, I like Joseph Alai, ALAI, and how he does lists. I have to move right position my leg. This list method where you write down, for example, you make it really small, just certain things like I see a purple car, I get a free cup of coffee, I find a quarter. These are really simple, nothing manifestations. And you write them down and you forget them. It could be I receive a check in the mail. I receive a nice card. I get a book. I'm given a gift out of the blue. Whatever it is. Simple, small, very small, but things that would be kind of nice. Nothing negative. And you just write them down, you put the date. And you go to the next page the next day. You just make your little list. You will see those things come into your reality. And it'll go ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh, there's the purple car. And you go back to your page and you put the date where it is. And pretty soon you're going to fill up the book where these things happen. It's the unique thing of manifestation that thoughts become things. That's why you want to become the change you wish to experience. And it takes a little delving into. If he is reticent, there's something likely that I might be creating about this. So what might I change? And there's no harm in attempting to make this happen, to see if it is something you are creating. That could very well be the case because of a belief system. It could be mixed messages you are sending because of a fear. I want to go on with this because this is about You've heard the saying, what we fear, we create. Dr. Joe talks more about this. Take a listen.
And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That's it. So the present personality who's sitting here today called you has created the present personal reality called your life. That's the truth. So if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, you would have to change your personality. And the first step in that is becoming conscious of your unconscious thoughts, those thoughts that say, I can't, it's too hard, I'll never change, it's my ex's fault, it's a what, whatever,
It's all
Or,
the ex.
or if you really truly wanted to be a happy person, you would have to stop complaining. You would have to stop blaming. You'd have to stop allowing your environment to control how you're feeling and thinking. And if you truly wanted to become a new personality, you would have to decide that the emotion of lack cannot belong in an abundant person. Oh, this is where the rubber hits the road now. Because how could you believe in a future that you haven't seen yet? And the end product of an experience in three-dimensional reality is called an emotion. And so most people wait for their wealth to feel abundant. They're waiting for their new relationship to feel love. They're waiting for their success to feel empowerment. They're waiting for their healing to feel wholeness or gratitude. That's the old model of reality.
You see, that's why we foster saying to ourselves, I am, I feel, I'm excited by. So we create the emotion first in order to feel it.
So then you got to trade that emotion of your past, and that story's got to go with it. And when you overcome your emotions, you master your creations. And that's freeing the body from the past. So the person who wants to become wealthy, they got to romance wealth.
Romance it.
They have to romance it. And you have to start thinking about how a wealthy person would think, how a wealthy person would act, how a wealthy person would feel. And you would have to become that personality. And that personality really should begin to create some change in your personal reality. The synchronicities that are not just parking spaces, not that stuff, but the bigger stuff that would stretch your belief so that when you see the synchronicity, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I created that.
And that's what I mean about the small stuff. Because then we get those little wins, like, I just got a free cup of coffee. I just saw a purple car. It builds on it to the bigger things, like we're talking about here. My one, my relationship, my love, my guy changing, whatever that is, we want that to occur and we want to build up to it.
Is that possible that I actually created that? Now you start believing more that you're the creator of your reality instead of the victim of your reality. And that's the truth. And you cannot experience that truth unless you step in the realm of creation. And in order for you to arrive at that wealth, you have to make a very clear decision that that person who wants the wealth and who is in lack of having it is going to have to make a lot of changes to finally run into that goal or vision of their wealth. You can't create a new really should begin to create some change in your personal reality. The same.
Don't know why that skipped there, but you can see that you gotta create the change you wish to see. Become the change you wish to experience. It is an important component of fostering the change in him, because through the change in you, you will see your reality change, you will see him change. So I want to open it up to Q&A because it's a lot. It's can be pretty deep, but I implore you to look more into people like Dr. Joe. This isn't something that's a one-off that you do and then you forget it. No, because our programming is with us at all times. The belief system, it's running in the background like a ticker tape. It's our programming. It would be like you never updated your computer. It's not going to run well. You're going to have the same problems you had. So, any question about, I know, Trista, I answered that one about bring in the one, or if not currently interested in someone, then I'm so happy. I'm meeting my one. My one is out there. He's there for me. I'm meeting him. I am meeting my love. So I'm so happy and grateful that this worked tonight, my very first ever YouTube and Instagram live. Thank you for being here. I think I manifested it. I knew it was going to happen some way, somehow, and found out how to do it. Any comments, questions about helping your man to make change and to see that change materialize in him? You've heard that it all starts with you. And that's what Dylan James is saying. If you haven't seen any of his videos, when he says, become the change you wish to experience. In other words, if you took, there's no phrase for this, but I'll coin it right now. We've heard radical acceptance. How about radical responsibility? If you took radical responsibility for where you are in your relationship journey, and then decided, okay, what change do I want to make? Change in more intimacy. Okay, that's an interesting one. What might you then be telling yourself? What is it that you would be saying? What are the I am statements that you would be saying about you? Because there's something, and knowing who's asking this and knowing the situation, he, I know, does not feel safe to give you more intimacy. Does that make sense to you? Because I know your situation and how you have, for lack of a better word, and this may ring true to you, foisted this relationship on him. He's gone kicking and screaming against it. But despite that, he has love and care for you. However, he feels bad about it. He has told you he feels bad about it. And so he does not feel safe to have more intimacy. Yes, I remembered the snake example. Yes. That is why there is not more intimacy, because you need to feel exactly what he needs to feel. And this is how it works. You, in your programming, do not feel safe and secure that you are loved, not abandoned, worthy. And until you have that solid feeling and knowledge that you are lovable, worthy, and getting the love you want, you are then creating a space of him feeling unsafe about it. We have progressed, and he wants a relationship and went on our first double date. He planned it. Hey, yay. You see, it can happen. So you then double down on allowing for him. It's coming true what I said. If you want this, you can have it. Remember I told you that, Kara? If you want this, you can have it. He's loving you despite all, but he needs to feel more safe. If you want more intimacy, you need to start to pull back and know that you have it. Create that change for yourself. I have the love I desire. I have it. I embody it. You say, but still kissing issues. Well, you see, I'm talking about that here. He must begin to feel more safe. How do you get over the hurts from bad parents and a bad childhood? This is how, because there's nothing you can do about that. You have to now take the consciousness of you, embody all that you are, all that you have achieved in your life, and begin to feed your subconscious like you are feeding a small child. Begin to feed your subconscious as if your subconscious was a small child. You are loved, right? But put it in the I am. I am loved. I am lovable. I am worthy. I am getting past my bad childhood. I am completely over my past and bad childhood. Stuff like that. I get it. Whatever I want from a man, I have to give it to myself first. Yes. Kara, yes, thanks, Paul. Okay, yes, I figured pull back. Okay, I got this. Yay! Big time. Oh boy, I plan to send a picture, either painting of mine or a funny pic that's been a bit of a sexy inside joke. Must I include some text with the image send, or wait for his reply to text more words? I think just sending the pic might be a little odd without something said, knowing the situation, if that makes sense. Yes. So there is a lot to this. And the most important thing is to identify it for yourself. What is it? What do I believe about myself? Because when he said, remember, your set of personal realities creates your personality. So you can create your personal reality. And then that in turn works through and shows through in your personality, which then attracts different things to you. If we're walking around with the programming of feeling negatively about ourselves, unworthy, unlovable, that is going to come through. There is no question that does. So we have to feed from our conscious mind with these affirmations into our subconscious mind and then take action. Change your action. In other words, most people keep doing something because they feel it. In other words, I'll keep texting him because I feel like I need him and need to reach out. I feel like if I don't text him, I won't hear from him. That's ding ding, lack of trust. Not allowing him to step forward. It shows need rather than feeding in your mind. I'm so glad I'm hearing from him. I'm getting a text from him. I'm hearing from him. I am so happy and grateful that I hear from my man. That might seem a bit fanciful because your subconscious mind is so strong, it's pushing back against it. You see, whatever's put in the subconscious mind as that baby, anything that's put in our subconscious mind, there is no delineation of truth or untruth in the subconscious mind. It is why you will have a dream and it will feel real. There is no delineation of reality, truth, what's true and what's false. Everything that's put into the subconscious mind just is taken as fact. So if you had the programming as the baby, you were not attended to in a way a baby needs, not the way we are saying in the modern world, it would be good to have babies and in 4 weeks you go back to work and the baby goes to daycare and you see it at night and everything is just fine. Well, that doesn't work because babies don't work like that. So what a baby needs, the constant attention, physical connection to the mother. It's why it would be like, I should say, if from any mammal, let's just take doggies. Doggy has puppies. Do we, what would be concurrent in puppy time? So, say concurrent in puppy times would be in 2 days, you take the puppy away from the mother. Unnatural. You're going to have trouble with that puppy. Doesn't work. And the higher you go up the scale with higher brain and thought, the worse it is. That's why we saw the wire monkey. Everybody who did Psych 101, has seen that wire monkey experiment probably from the 1960s. I hope they don't do those anymore. So inhumane. But we cannot take what we believe from then, from a baby mind, and continue to grow it, which that's what we do. So that's your reality. I'm not wanted. I'm not deserving of time, attention, and affection from my love interest. That could be there from the time you've been 3 years old. And then you just kept playing it out, playing it out, playing it out, playing it out, playing it out. I will be abandoned. I am someone to be forgotten and abandoned. That's a lie. Even if it happened to you when you were a baby, you now know consciously it wasn't you, it wasn't your fault. But a baby until 7, there can be no delineation that whatever happens in their reality, they are the cause, not the recipient of. So if you were abused in any way, you can note it. I am the cause of the abuse, not the recipient. It's very profound. So it's a lie what is in your subconscious, whatever it is, for all of us, every single one of us, because nobody gets around being a baby. We all have it to one degree or another. So whatever it is, typically it's not true. Well, it's a big subconscious belief when you say to yourself something like, I am worthy, I am honored, I am respected, I am whatever positive thing. And there's something in your brain that ticks off, not really true. That's not really true. I can say that to myself all I want. It's not really true. Then you know that's a programmed belief. In other words, you could say you were abandoned by a loved one, meaning your mother or father, and you were to say, no one who loves me ever leaves me. Immediately you're going to say, that's untrue. Well, that's what you need to be feeding into your subconscious mind. I am lovable, and trust that I am worthy of love. That my love is loyal, faithful, and always there. And that you are not going to believe for a while. It's okay. Keep feeding it into your subconscious. Keep feeding it. Give it to yourself. And then you see it in your reality. So I'm really grateful that we did this today. I know it's a lot to unpack. We will always do more on it. It's foundational, important. Watch people like Dr. Joe. There's so much now you can get about this. If you need more help, I am here. If you are with a man and things are going off course, there's some kind of issue. It's either mindset, mechanics, and then we have to add in the manifestation. So you stay at a very high level of knowing that you're going to create your personal reality. You can. Absolutely. You want that ex back? You can get him back. You absolutely can. You want, like Kara said here, now has this relationship, and he, because she is saying in her mind, he's coming through for me. He is. You can have it. We tweak along the way, and it works. So if you would do me a big favor and hit that like button, subscribe to me if you have not. Thank you for helping me get to my 2002-50. Let's put that new goal of 25 more by next Wednesday at this time. That would be so wonderful. That's my manifestation. I'm going to get to work on that. It's so important that we create what we wish to experience. That's what we're going to do here with you each and every week. Come back to these lives. If you want to be on the live and talk to me at any time, if you are part of the 80/20 Wonder Club or a client of mine, you can be on the live. You know that you just connect with Michelle and you say you want to come on, and you do an anonymous talk with me. Use a different name for yourself or your guy, and we can talk here about it. If you haven't seen videos whereby we do that, I'll put one here in the description below so you can see how that works. Go ahead and join the 80/20 Wonder Club, and we can be talking, and you get all the Make and Wonder episodes there to listen to over 200 coaching conversations in full with these kinds of principles to help you create the life of love you desire and deserve. So thank you again. See you in the next video.